Good morning and welcome to the SWAC Football Head Coaches Media Session for Monday, September 11th. Our media session will begin approximately 10:05 with Alabama A&M Head Coach Connell Maynor. We do ask that if you do have questions for our coaches during their time availability, please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your questions in the queue. We ask you please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we do have additional time allotted in our coaches' availability, we will work our way back to get additional questions answered. We also ask that you please leave your lines muted unless you are actively asking a question, and please wait to be called upon prior to asking your question. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. A quick rundown of our schedule for today. We'll have Alabama head coach A&M Connell Maynor from 10:05 to 10:15. Alabama State head coach Eddie Robinson Jr. from 10:15 to 10:25. Alcorn State head coach Fred McNair from 10:25 to 10:35. Bethune-Cookman head coach Raymond Woody from 10:35 to 10:45. Florida A&M head coach Willie Simmons from 10:45 to 10:55. Grambling State head coach Hugh Jackson from 10:55 to 11:05. Arkansas Pine Bluff head coach Alonzo Hampton from 11:05 to 11:15. Mississippi Valley State head coach Kendrick Wade from 11:15 to 11:25. Prairie A&M head coach Bubba McDowell from 11:25 to 11:35. Southern University head coach Eric Dooley from 11:35 to 11:45. Texas Southern head coach Clarence McKinney from 11:45 to 11:55. And Jackson State head coach T.C. Taylor from 11:55 to 12:05. These times are all central. We'll begin here in about 2 minutes with Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor. Appreciate your patience. Once again, for all of our media participating on this call, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature if you do have any questions for our coaches. And we'll begin now with Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. If you could please start us out by recapping this past week and by previewing your upcoming opponent.
We played Lane College, our home opener, Lewis Cruz Classic this weekend. We knew Lane was a good football program, even though they're Division II. And they came in and played us very tough. The first half, we off to a 14-zip lead. And next thing you know, it's 14-7 heading into halftime. So we just said we got to readjust and just got to quit shooting ourselves in the foot on offense. The defense played good. They just gave bus run coverage and gave up a touchdown. So we knew if they just kept playing the way they was playing, and then we just stopped shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit to say we'd be fine. And we had a great third quarter and a great fourth quarter. I think the defense had four interceptions, and 2 sacks. And offensively, we executed, ran the ball well. The offensive line blocked good. We took care of the ball on offense. We did have 2 turnovers. One was a tip ball, and the other one was a muff punt. So, but overall, I was pleased. We did what we were supposed to do when playing the Division II opponent. Then our upcoming game, Southern, not off to the start that they want to be off to, but they got a good football program, a great coach, and we got to go up there and play them to Baton Rouge, and they're gonna be ready to go. They backs against the wall. They can't afford to lose again, and we know that. And it's our first conference game, so we're excited about that, this opportunity, and we look forward to going up to playing a great football game against a great football team.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Talk a little bit about from its first game and what
you said talk about first game, from the first game to the second game? You're on mute. Jim, you're on mute. I can't hear you, Jim.
You're on mute, Jim.
Can you talk about the improvement your team
Okay.
like y'all ran?
Right. Well, we actually started fast again, as we did against Vandy, taking the ball down on a 20-play drive and getting a field goal. We started fast, got into a 14-zip lead, and then we kind of just, I don't know, went to sleep in the second quarter. And defensively, we gave up a busted coverage for a touchdown. Offensively, we just sputtered in the second quarter, and so we was only up 21-7. But regrouped at halftime, came out, played hard, which we didn't do at Vandy in week 1. We didn't execute the second half what we did in the first half. This past week, we executed at a high level in the second half. the third quarter and the fourth quarter on all three phases of the football game: offensive, defense, and special teams. So we kind of knew, that's when you improve the most from the first game to the second game. So we're still not there yet. We still got to make some more improvements, and we'll work on those this week and get ready for Southern.
Can you talk a little bit about Ryan Morrow? And it looks like he busted out a little bit for y'all.
Yes, he did. Ryan Morrow has been in with the program. He was backing up Eaglin, and Eaglin had just banged up just a little bit, and we wanted to sit Eaglin and have him ready for Southern. And Mr. Morrow stepped up, and he was ready to play. Had a big day. I think 191 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he'll see a lot of action this week. We're probably those guys are split time, and we're very pleased with what he did. But again, the offensive line opened up some holes.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. Coach Maynard, wanted to ask you about Xavier Langford. How is progression and his consistency? How are you feeling that he's
He's performing well. He's performing well. I've always said the thing with X is consistency. We say flashes of greatness to get you beat. You have to be consistent, especially at that position. And so he's playing very well right now. As long as he keeps doing that and play consistently, gives us a chance to win every ball game that we play.
moving to the next matchup against Southern as you travel down there, conference game to open things up from a conference perspective? How do you feel your defense is coming along? They seem to be really consistent from last year and picking off where they left off in many ways. What are some key components in terms of what they're getting done and doing well?
Well, I think we're playing a lot better than we did last year. We gave up a few more yards than we wanted to give up this past week, but we had a lot of turnovers. And so we bent a little bit, but we didn't break. And like I said, we had the one busted coverage. So I'm pleased with the way those guys are playing. We want to be able to stop the run a little bit better than we did last week. We're getting off the field on third down, causing turnovers, putting pressure on the quarterback. So defense is playing well. We want to see how they play this week against Southern. We played up first week. We played down last week. Now we're right where we're supposed to be with FCS opponents and SWAC opponents. So very excited to see where we are offensively, defense, special teams when we play at Island.
Look forward to the matchup.
I do too.
Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Hey, Coach, is there anything in particular that you liked about your team the most when it comes to improving from week 1 to week 2?
Well, Mo, offensively, we actually turned the ball over twice this week, and we didn't turn it over at all against Vanderbilt. But again, it was a batted pass, and defensive lineman intercepted the ball with one hand on the ground for that turnover. And then the other one came off a muff punt. So, we play solid. We play solid on offense. You can call that a fluke. And so I'm not upset about that. I'm pleased with the way they performed. And we was able to get down. It was 4 for 4 in the red zone. So I was very pleased with that. Week 1, we struggled. We had to kick some field goals. So, and then defensively, I mean, the second half where we played, I knew we weren't going to quit, but we came out with a purpose and dominated the second half. So I was very pleased.
All right, Coach, and this week you hit the A.W. Mumford Stadium in Baton Rouge, a place that you and your team went in 2019 and had an epic showdown down there. What are you telling your guys as far as who weren't on the team back then about what they can expect when it comes to not only facing Southern, but also that atmosphere they'll have to deal with?
Yeah, not only you're right, a great coach and Coach Dooley and a great team in Southern, and they playing at home. They just lost last week at home, so it's almost unheard of for Southern to lose two home games back to back in the season. So we know what we're going up against. We understand it's a great environment. They got a great fan base. They're gonna be hyped up and ready to go. It's gonna be sold out, and it's gonna be a great football game. And we look forward to the opportunity. We look forward to the challenge.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Maynard with Alabama A&M. If you do have any questions, we ask you please utilize the raise your hand feature. We'll take a question from Jim Kleinpeter.
Yeah, Coach, what impresses you about Southern's offense? What do you see as a key to stopping them offensively?
Well, they got a great quarterback. He's a dual threat quarterback. He can hurt you with his arm or his legs. They got a couple of running backs they playing. They got a big old offensive line that they always have that can lean on you. So we can't give up big plays. We got to make them drive the field. And don't let that quarterback get loose on us. We got to be able to control his legs. Don't let him get no big runs and then no long passes. If we can just make them have to go 14, 15, 16 plays to try to score, we got a chance. But they got a great team and they'd be ready to play. So defensively, they're always good on defense. They stout. So we got to really play well on offense. We got to control the ball. We got to stay balanced to keep them off the balance because they just don't give up points. So you got to play well.
Thank you, Coach.
Last question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
Good, Charles.
A quick question I want to ask, what does it say about the strength of the SWAC East, especially for Alabama State and Jackson State to get victories over Southern thus far early in the season?
It says a lot. I think that, everybody says that the SWAC is the SEC of HBCUs. They're right. I mean, we got a lot of good football teams, man. We got a lot of good football coaches, a lot of good football teams, and you got to be ready to play every week. And it's not going to be a whole lot of blowouts, man. It's going to be people going to be in the game. It's going to be one possession games. It's going to be 4-quarter games, and you got to make plays down the stretch. Normally, it's just like the team that wins going to make 1 or 2 more plays than the other team. I mean, it's just tough conference, man. Every week, you got to roll your sleeves up and be ready to fight. If you're not, you're going to lose the football game.
Sure thing. Appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Coach Maynor, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Next, we go to Alabama State. Head coach Eddie Robinson. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. If you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping this past week and previewing your upcoming opponent.
Yeah, played at home against Miles College, a D2 program. Guys came out, thought we competed hard. At the end of the day, we didn't do enough to get a W. So it's a very disappointing loss for us, especially after playing so well to week 1. So now we get to see about our character a little bit, see what type of team we're going to be. The things that we worked on in the offseason that we did in the first game, we didn't continue that in the second game. Had too many penalties. Had 3 interceptions. One of them was towards the end of the game. So those are the things that really hurt us. The bright side, we did have our freshman guy started his first game, got an interception, got a pick 6, ran it back for a touchdown. Did some good things on the special teams, punt return. Our kicker did a really good job, Jay John. He had missed a couple field goals last week and came back and made one and made all his extra points. So a lot of things that we did well, but just too many mistakes, especially playing at home against a D2 opponent. But got to give Miles College and Sam Shade a lot of credit. They came here and played. They competed. I think the game was a little bit more important to them than it was to us. So that's one of those things that I take credit for that and take the blame for it. And then we got to get ready. We have a bye week this week, so we'll work on us. We have to fix what we're doing, improve our mistakes, be a more disciplined football team, and try to figure out, what's the real Alabama State football team the first week or the second week. And then coming back off of that bye week, we'll play FAMU.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open up for questions for Coach Robinson. If you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Take questions now. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Bill's Inside HBCU Sports Lab. Wanted to ask a little more about the mentality, as you said. How do you focus on yourself over the next week to provide the mindset that talking about where you want to be and what kind of team? Are there some things that you can do from a coaching perspective to push that along, or is that just so much internal to where the team and some of the leaders want to be?
I think it starts with practice, and the kids have to realize, is you can't just go through practice. Just showing up at practice doesn't mean you get better. You got to have a perfect practice. You got to strive to correct those mistakes in practice. If you continue to do the same things in practice, then it's not going to work in the game. And so we have to have more competition. Some of the guys that didn't play a lot in those first 2 games, you have to come to practice this bye week and show me why you should be the starter, why you should get more playing time. And for those other guys who are kind of in that comfortable role, if you made those mistakes the first 2 weeks and you don't correct them, then you can't play as much. So I think we have to have that type of mentality that the best guys, we got to have some competition, and the guys who do the best will play. And if not, we got to scale back your playing time. So I think that's where we have to go. And that's where we are as a team. And we have enough talent on the team that we have to push each other, and the best guys have to play.
One question in terms of this 2-week break, if you would, for your two matchups. In your experience over the last year, how much advantages come to being able to have that extra week to prepare for a team?
Well, I think for us, after a loss like that, I wanted to play the next day. You don't have to wait 14 days to try to get that bad taste out your mouth. But you look at it and you figure, hey, we've been going at this thing since August. So a standpoint of getting a couple of people healthy and getting everybody back on the same page from a preparation standpoint, it just allows you to really make sure that you're really good at your game plan. I mean, we know FAMU pretty well. We get to watch them play another game, and maybe they'll do some things different. So we'll definitely take advantage of having a 3-game breakdown on them. But at the same time, you still have to go out there and execute the plan. The plan is only good as the execution of it. So I think, our problem is it was more the execution of the plan. It wasn't the plan, So if we stay on script, and I preach to the kids every time, consistently good equals great. I don't need you to go out there and try to make a great play. Just be consistently good. And so that's what we're working on day to day, in the classroom, in the lunchroom, around campus, be consistently good. So.
Next question goes to Henry.
Thank you.
Good morning, Coach. It's Henry Pugh from HBCUR, presented by the Golden Boot. Coach, at the end of the game, you went in and made a change. Was that something that's just situational, or are you looking to make a change at the quarterback spot full time?
Well, I think everybody has to compete this week, and that's how we're going to look at it. Damon Stewart had a really good summer, really good camp. We wanted to get him some playing time in this game regardless. We felt like that, D. Davis had a couple plays towards that game that just wasn't unlike him. And so we wanted to put Stu in here and get him an opportunity, maybe to give us a little spark. Drove us down to 2-minute, had a chance to win the game on a 4th down play. Actually completed a big 3rd down for a 1st down at the 15, but we had a holding penalty, so that kind of set us back. Penalties and sacks killed 2-minute drives, so that kind of set us off schedule. But I thought he did enough towards the end of that game to definitely warrant some more playing time. So he'll compete, and the best kid, just like any other position, will play.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Next question goes to Perry.
Coach, your team is going from a loss to a Division II school to playing the preseason pick to win the SWAC East. From a mental standpoint, how do you get your team back up and ready to go in 2 weeks?
Yeah, so we have a thing that's called the Hornet Creed. It starts off, this is the beginning of a new day. So if you're still wilding about the loss to Miles College, then you're going to lose the next week. And so we have to win each day. I think, we have big plans for this season, and we still do everything that we plan to do, and every goal we have is still in front of us. So you can't get caught up on, hey, you had a bad loss. Bad loss is going to happen. Bad things going to happen in life. That's part of it. But the biggest thing to me is win each day. So that's what we're focusing on, instead of worrying about, hey, what we can do to beat FAMU, what we can do to beat the next team on our, et cetera. Let's win today. Let's be the best that Sunday, the best that Monday, win each day. And then when it comes to that game, you win the game that day. So that's how we're looking at it. And I think that's the only way you can approach football.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
Currently taking questions for Coach Robinson with Alabama State. Any final questions? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time, and have a great bye week. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we're a few minutes ahead of schedule. We'll go with Coach McNair with Alcorn State. His time slot is going to begin here in probably roughly about 2 minutes, 10:25. So we'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. All right, once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have questions, we ask that you please utilize your raise your hand feature to get your questions in the queue for the coaches. At this time, I'm happy to be joined by Coach McNair with Alcorn State. Coach, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement, recapping this past week's action and previewing your upcoming opponent.
Pleasure to visit you guys this morning. We traveled down to Nacogdoches, Texas, and played a good Stephen F. Austin ball club that was prepared to play full 60 minutes. I thought coming out, we get the ball first, and we made some penalties there on the first possession that kind of put us behind the sticks a little bit. And special team, we didn't play as well on special team we did the week prior to Stephen F. Austin. We had 2 saves, we had a block punt, and we had a punter step out of the end zone on one of the punt situations. So we didn't play as well as we did the previous week against Southern Miss on special teams. I think that kind of hampers us a little bit, and the things we could have did and pinning the guys back or flipping the field over. Offensively, I thought we did some great things that we didn't do against the first game. We had much more improvement in terms of execution. Things that we did offensively. I thought that we made some giant steps in where we was at offensive-wise. Defense played a solid ball game. They had 3 picks, in which offensively we didn't capitalize on either one. We got to be able to capitalize on turnovers. Of course, we didn't turn the ball over either, so that was a big plus. So overall picture, we played a good football team in Stephen F. Austin. Shows a lot of improvement from game 1. And as a head coach, that's what you look for in terms of where you were at game 1 to game 2. I thought we showed a lot of great signs in moving forward with this program. Got a good football team coming up this week against McNeese State here at home. Be our home opener for this week. So excited about the progress that we're making going towards the rest of the year, especially for our next ball game. So a lot of improvement. I'm really proud to see in terms of this program. So looking forward to a good game this weekend against McNeese State.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. We'll now open it for questions for Coach. If you have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue. Currently taking questions for Coach McNair. Coach, when you look at McNeese State on film, what are some of the things that stand out about them offensively and defensively?
They got a bunch of good guys. They plan to they plan 2 quarterback system. Got some good guys that can throw the ball, they can run the ball as well. The receiver course is very good. We got a challenge for us at that position. So up front, they're pretty solid. They got All-American offensive linemen that's going to play well. Defensive wise, Coach Peck got those guys playing pretty good on defense. So they're solid. Those guys all around. Coach Goff got those guys playing really good. So right now, it's just us to do the things we need to do to make sure that we're taking care of Alcorn State University football. It's all about what we do. Like I tell the guys all the time, we minimize the mistakes that we make, challenge the ball club that we're playing. And it's all about what we do. So from that aspect of it, they're going to come in hungry. Went down there last year. We beat them down there last year. So they're going to come in hungry and ready to play. So got a good challenge ahead of us this weekend.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Yeah, Coach McNair, that was a big win last year for your team at McNeese. Can you talk about the importance of beating other FCS schools in positioning the SWAC as a relevant at-large option when it comes to playoff time?
Well, it means a lot. I think our commissioner talked about a lot too, of getting a bid to the playoffs and in terms of SWAC of Celebration Bowl, in terms of the strength of your schedule. And I think we have a good strength of schedule. We played a good FBS team in Southern Miss, played McNeese State. Stephen F. Austin, which is normally in the playoffs too. Even McNeese State coming up now. Those teams are normally in the playoff picture each and every year. So just having that strength of schedule and playing those caliber teams kind kind of build us a platform to where we need to be in terms of getting ready for our SWAC conference. So I think that what we're doing now with this program, playing those schools like that, kind of put us in a situation, especially when you can beat one or keep it close in terms of what you can do in terms of the playoff bids.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Next question goes to Charles.
How you doing, Coach McNair?
Good, sir.
I wanted to ask you a couple games into the season. How would you assess your quarterback room right now, and what do those guys need to do to really kind of get the offense up and rolling?
It's still good. I think the quarterback room is good. I think Coach Phillips is doing a great job with those guys and managing that room. Good feedback from all of them. I think the thing we need to do now is focus on being more consistent in what we do at that position in terms of making plays and making the throws and making the right reads and stuff like that. But they're coming along very well. I think right now, if I had to access that room right there, I thought that we've been doing a pretty good job. Not to where we want it to be right now. We still have some challenges in that room in terms of what we need to do to lead this offense to where it needs to be. So the room is good. So we just got to get these guys to be more consistent in what they're doing on the field and in the course of ball games.
A quick follow-up. Are we still sort of at the stage where we will see both quarterbacks?
Yeah, right now I think you probably will in terms of what we're doing and in terms of our offense and what we can do. So hopefully on down the line you'll see one of the guys just really stick out and we'll just go with that guy. But right now we still have some things that we got to get straight and in terms of Mako and Allen. So those guys are very good in that room. So they helping each other. They learn from each other. So I think the progress is going very well.
Sure thing. Thank you, Coach, and good luck next week.
Thank you, sir.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Coach, I want to follow up on a question. This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC Sports Lab. I just want to ask you from a fan's perspective, a media perspective, assume every matchup, every game is important to the team in regards to trying to be effective on what you want to get done in the game. But oftentimes, from a media perspective of fans, we chat about beating FCS programs or beating another team in terms of how much do you see that as accurate to how much does beating a certain team in an area really attribute to recruiting?
I think really from a fan stand base and I guess the media as well, when you go in and win those kind of ball games against those top notch FCS team or even the FBS team, you kind of get credit for that and kind of give you a platform of where you want to be during the course of a year. But you still got to humble yourself down too as well when you're coming back and playing in this conference. To where you can be and where you need to be, because this is a good conference. I think what Dr. McClellan is doing is building this conference to be one of the premier conferences in football. And where we at now, and I think we're on the right measuring table to kind of access that in terms from a media standpoint and from fans' perspective. So I think that we're on the right page and of doing the things we need to do in this conference. Because like I said, this is a tough conference now. You have some really, really good football players here, really good coaches. So I think that where we at now, we're not trying to satisfy anybody but us in terms of what we do. When you go out and beat one of these teams, you get credit for that, but you still got to humble yourself and realize that you still got good teams in this conference that can beat you anytime. So it's just a measuring stick for us in terms of what we can do and what we can be from a football standpoint.
Thank you, Coach.
Currently taking questions for Coach McNair with Alcorn State. We'll take a question from James Hill.
Good morning, Coach. I hope you and the gentlemen at the reservation are well. When you talk about the game of football, there's several opportunities and there's a 3-month experience. But just talk about continuing to grind it out. And Saturday, there's another opportunity.
That's what I tell the players too. Each and every Saturday, it's an opportunity for you. Being 0-2 right now, but you still have 9 games left on the schedule. So each and every day you go out and make yourself better to compete for that Saturday. You put the work boots on, your cleats on, Monday through Friday, and go out and try to get that check on Saturday. So that's what it's all about. Giving these guys an opportunity to play another week, have another chance, have some more eyes on you the next following week, more people to cheer for you the next following week. During the course of this week, our first home opener, so we get a chance to see your fan base and see where we're at in terms of the fans. So it's a good opportunity for us. So we're excited about it, and just hope everybody just come out and continue to support our brand of football and where we at, and the things that we continue to do each and every week.
Coach, there's nothing like HBCU football, the culture, the pageantry, the bands, the food, the tailgate, the people, and the football games. Can you just talk a little bit about the atmosphere you envision this weekend at the Alcorn State University?
It'll be a good atmosphere for our new guys that's coming in, and we talk about it on the recruiting trail too. So while we are recruiting, we talk about how friend-family this place is, and especially on home game with the tailgate and the experience you have with our fans. So the fan base, and I've seen all the HBCUs home games, tailgate. It's phenomenal, man. You got great atmosphere there, all the HBCU schools, in terms of what we do in preparation towards games on Saturday. So I've seen a lot of it, even as a player, especially as a coach now. You get a chance to get there early before the game start, and you're seeing all these fans, and you're seeing all the barbecue pits lit up, and all the smokers around the area, man. I tell you, it's nothing like it. Smell the barbecue, man, and the fried chicken and fried fish, man. It's just phenomenal stuff. So I would recommend, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't make no change in what I've done in the past. I would always say HBCU is the best for a college experience ever. I have done it, I've seen it, and I've been around a lot of it. So this is my home, and hopefully I'm here for the next 40 years in the HBCU ranking. So it is good. So it's been good to me.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Thank you, sir.
Coach McNair, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
All right, you guys just keep everybody in mind for those who stood up for it and those fallen soldiers that went down in 9/11. I'll keep those guys in mind for this day.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
We'll now go to Bethune-Cookman. Coach Woody with Bethune-Cookman.
Yes. How you doing?
I do see we have Coach with us. Hey, good morning, Coach. And as always, Coach, we sincerely appreciate you take some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening remarks, recapping your team's win this past week versus Savannah State.
Well, I tell you what, obviously we're proud of the guys, going in and executing, the game plan, in all aspects. When you look at the game afterwards, it's definitely a situation that you can improve on, but we're glad that we got a win in our season opener at home.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBC. It was close for a half, but then you were able to really get some things in the second half and continue to hold Savannah State Tigers down. About what you felt your team was able to do offensively throughout this match.
Well, I tell you what, we played 2 quarterbacks. Obviously, going into the first quarter, we had a Walt start, and then made a switch, towards the end of the quarter, and brought in Luke Sprague, and he ended up kind of opening up the passing game for us, and it worked out for us.
Now you turn around and you have this matchup going in the next week. Talk a little bit about what your team has to do successful on the field next week.
Against Miami, the world champs. Well, we got to go.
Yes.
Yeah, but we got to go in and do things the right way as far as mastering our 5A's, alignment, assignment, adjustment, and alert, and obviously we want to win hidden yardage battle, and then we got to play sound offense and defense. It goes back to the basic techniques and fundamentals, of football. And, they have a lot of guys that could turn a negative play into a positive play. And we just got to do well with the basic fundamentals. And that's what, we're preaching, because it's a short week. You can't put in too much to have the guys thinking. They just got to play good fundamental football. Don't hurt yourself.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach Woody, congratulations on that victory. Talk a little bit about returning to Daytona and being able to get one to set the foundation at home for your program, and what it was like to get one.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a good feeling, to be home in front of the home crowd, community, administration. I mean, it was just nice for the players to put a complete game together, and go out there and win at home, setting the standard. I mean, we wanted to make it tough, to come in our home and let someone take over. We don't lose at home, and I think those players, they gain a lot of confidence, going into this game, understanding that, hey, you know what, we're going to make it hard for someone to come in and compete, try to win at our home.
Coach, quick turnaround, next stop down to Miami Gardens to play the Hurricanes, but just talk a little bit about going in there and the mentality of the Wildcats nation.
Well, like I said earlier, we got to go in and make sure that we're sound on all three aspects of the game and don't have any foolish penalties. I mean, they're a really good football team. Obviously had an opportunity, some history there to coach with Coach Mario at Oregon, and then, the D-line, Joe Salavera, all those guys, we were side by side. And I know Coach Cristobal, he's going to have his team ready to go, and we're going to have our team ready to go. We just got to minimize the mistakes and do the things the right way, and let's keep it a game, and we're going to fight, we're going to claw, and if we do that, good things will happen.
Coach, in closing, the BCU fan base down in South Florida, they get an opportunity to see you guys, and then the recruiting piece, young men who want to be a Wildcat. Just talk a little bit about this is a great opportunity.
Oh, it is. I mean, to play a program like Miami, just so they understand, hey, you come here, in order to be the best, you got to play the best, and we're not running, we're not worrying about anyone on our schedule. It's the most important game because it's the next game, and now that they see that, hey, you know what, coming to BCU, you get a chance to play in some big time games. But we take each week one day at a time, and this is the most important. But this is a real good football team that we're going to play in the fan base, and then recruits, they see an opportunity to be able to come to a school like BCU and have a chance to play early and play against a team like the University of Miami.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
You too.
Currently taking questions for Coach Woody with Bethune-Cookman. Any final questions? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this week.
Thank you.
Few minutes ahead of schedule. Next, we'll be joined by head coach Willie Simmons with Florida A&M. His availability will be from 10:45 to 10:55 Central. That'll be roughly about 2 minutes. We'll be back momentarily. Thank you for your patience. Once again, for all of our media participants, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in the queue for our coaches. We ask you please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up. If we do have additional time in our coaches' availability, we will work our way back to get additional questions answered. And we ask you please wait to be called upon prior to asking your questions. Next up, we're going to be joined by Coach Simmons with Florida A&M. Right. I do see that we have Coach Simmons with us. Coach, as always, we appreciate you take some time out of your schedule to join us. If you could please start us out by recapping this past week's outing at South Florida.
Well, obviously it wasn't an outcome that we wanted, but I'm proud of the guys for how they competed. 2 years in a row, we've gone toe-to-toe with, FBS programs all the way up into the fourth quarter, and just proud of that and the growth and maturity that we showed. Obviously, we had some self-inflicted wounds that really hurt us, 5 turnovers, 12 penalties, and you can't beat teams of equal talent or greater talent when you shoot yourself in the foot. But again, a lot of good takeaways from the game. Threw for 374 yards, had 6 sacks, 13 tackles for loss. Held a team that had over 550 yards of offense the week before to, under 330. Held them to 120 yards rushing. So again, defensively played tremendously. And offensively and special teams, left a lot to be desired. But again, the guys watch the film and they now see how capable we are of being a dominant team if we just continue to work. So again, proud of them all in all, and got to get ready for a tough West Florida team coming in this week.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, just want to say hello to you and everybody on the highest of 7 hills. In the first quarter, when Terrell scored, you guys were setting the tone and the foundation for a good game. But just talk a little bit about what you were able to see out there and your takeaways going home back to play West Florida.
Well, again, we started fast, 2 weeks in a row, scored on the first drive. So that's something that we talk about. It's one of our goals. Guys had a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. They got it back and scored. Obviously, we had to adjust to their tempo. First time really seeing it in person. We talked to them about it, but until you see it in person, it's almost impossible to prepare for. So as the game progressed, our defense got a lot better at adjusting to their pace. But then the big turnover, they score. We have a fumble on the next kickoff. They get it on the short field and score again. And, took some of the wind out of our sails. We got it back eventually, driving in the score right before halftime to make it a 3-point game. And we fumbled again on the 5 going in, so 2 huge turnovers on fumbles, and then had 2 interceptions the first half as well. So when you turn the ball over 4 times and a half against a team, that's really devastating, But again, the guys fought hard. They didn't back down. They stood toe-to-toe with an FBS program. And again, I couldn't be more proud of them for that. Just gotta clean up the mistakes.
Coach, a big winning streak going back home to brag, but just talk a little bit about defending your stadium.
Well, obviously this weekend, very excited to be able to honor the legendary Ken Riley by, naming the field Ken Riley Field. So one of my highlights as a coach is to be able to run out of the tunnel and lead our team onto Ken Riley Field. And so, not only defending the nation's second longest home win streak, but playing our first game at home on Ken Riley Field means the world to us. So we know West Florida wants to be a spoiler of that great moment, and we got to prepare ourselves mentally to be ready to play our best game on Saturday to prevent that from happening.
Have a blessed week.
Thank you, James.
Next question goes to Henry Pugh.
Good morning, Coach. It's Henry Pugh of HBCUR presented by the Golden Boot. How are you today?
Doing well.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about Jeremy Moose's, I guess you could say, tale of two halves, his first half versus his second half?
Well, I thought Jeremy threw the ball extremely well. 374 yards passing, made some really nice throws against tight man coverage. He missed a couple of throws there early, a misread on the interception there, and on the screen, it was kind of cloudy, so just throw it in the dirt, live for another down. But other than that, I thought he played a really solid football game. Had a couple of reads there, in the end where he wish he would have gotten back. But as far as the pass game, I thought he was solid. We got to do a better job of protecting him, obviously. We had some breakdowns in protection on a couple, some miscommunications that caused him to take some shots that are unnecessary. But again, he showed why he's one of the better passers in the country by, really throwing nice balls in tight man coverage, on some deep crossing routes, because that's what those guys were forcing us to do.
Yes, Coach. And you mentioned earlier about being able to go toe-to-toe with FBS programs. We've kind of seen that around the country with HBCUs. Can we attribute some of that success to being able to pull guys from the portal that used to be at, I guess you could say, FBS programs, and also just pull just talent from all over that has already kind of been developed?
Well, I think you can attribute that to the level of coaching that we have in these conferences. I think that's something that's been overlooked for a very long time. I've said it forever. You give us a lot of the same toys that the other guys are playing with, and you'll see how good coaching there is in the SWAC and the MEAC. And so not surprised in the least bit by the job that Damon Wilson's doing over at Morgan, what Larry Scott's doing, at Howard, what Trey Oliver's doing at North Carolina Central, what guys in the SWAC, Fred McNair, Hugh Jackson, Eric Dooley. I mean, there's some phenomenal coaches that I go up against every year. Deion Sanders said it best. Shador said it. That what they're facing now is not much different than what they faced the last 2 years in the SWAC. And hopefully the nation's starting to take notice of that.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's Inside HBCU Sports Lab. Great analysis in regards to refocusing on the coaching perspective of what various coaches in HBCUs across the various leagues. With that being said, I wanted to look a little bit about your wide receiver room and receivers and how they played this past weekend. Nicholas Dixon, Marcus Riley, Kelvin Dean, and then Dean got in the end zone, but Dixon and Riley were able to put up some yards. Talk about how their maturation is coming on, Dixon being the senior, and then a young guy, Riley, as well.
Well, I think the receiver group, top to bottom, is the most talented group on our team. Ton of ability. Mm-hmm. But I think they're also the group that probably has the most need for growth and maturity. They can never put it together. I mean, you're talking about a dangerous group. I mean, Marcus Riley's an NFL prospect, Jamari Sharif's first team all-conference. Nick Dixon's a guy that's been around this program for 6 years and, had his best game as a Rattler last Saturday. But then Jamari Gassett, Chris Reed, Darren Oxendine, Trey Davis. I mean, we have a very, very deep and talented receiver room. Just right now, they're still adjusting to a new coach. Coach Antonio Carter came to us this past spring after having Coach Barassa for 5 years. So they've been used to one voice. Now they're getting used to another voice, different coaching style, still very effective coaching style, just different. And so they have to adjust to that. But if we can just get those guys to consistently play at the level they're capable of, man, this really opens up our offense, because everywhere else I think we have a pretty mature group. Just right now the receivers are showing a lot of talent, but showing probably the need for the most growth as far as just their mental approach to the game.
Thank you. Moving on, we talk about playing up FCS. Also, you can play down in terms of least divisional classification. I want to put that out there in terms of Division II, and that happens to be your next opponent. We just saw playing up Oregon State went toe-to-toe. In many ways, right there, victory didn't fall out that way. But you've also seen some Division II programs, SIAC, jump up and beat some FCS programs. And you come in with a talented team with West Florida. Not this matchup, but from your defense. We looked offensively what you're able to do in a couple of weeks, but defensively, what needs to get done in this matchup, the victory against West Florida, and continue that home win streak?
Yeah, I think defensively, just do what we've done the first 2 weeks. Stop the run, eliminate the big plays, and create pressure on the quarterback. And that's what those guys have shown the ability to do, as well as anyone in America. So again, I'm very excited about that side of the ball. I have no doubt that they'll be ready to play. But I don't subscribe to the concept of playing up or playing down. To me, that's against our university philosophy, our program philosophy. For us, we tell the guys every week, our competition is us. We're chasing, we're chasing the spirit of greatness, and that's what we do. And we're fighting against the spirit of complacency. That's our battle. Our battle is that voice in all of our heads that tell us that, you're talented, you're good enough. You don't have to do all that extra stuff. It's just going to happen for you. That's that spirit of complacency that we fight every day. And that's everybody on this call. That's everybody who lives on this earth. But we're also chasing that spirit of greatness that says, hey, if you chase it, you'll hit, excellence along the way. And that's what we're trying to do. So for our football team, we don't look at West Florida. We didn't look at South Florida, no Jackson, or any of the other teams on our schedule. Every week, our challenge is those two forces that are pulling at us. And we continue to chase perfection. We'll hit excellence along the way. And that prevents the whole notion of playing up or playing down.
Motivating. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Simmons, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next, we go to Grambling State. Head coach Hugh Jackson. I do see that we have Coach with us. Coach, as always, we appreciate you take some time to join us on the call. Coach, if you would please start us out by recapping this past week's outing at LSU.
Well, obviously, we didn't have the result we wanted. We came up way short, didn't play as well as we like to play. But again, it was a great experience for our football team. Got to find out a lot more about my football team. We're looking forward to getting back out to practice and getting ready for our game this weekend against Florida Memorial University.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Henry Pugh.
Good morning, Coach. Henry Pugh from the HBCUR, presented by the Golden Boot. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well.
Coach, offensively, you were able to move the ball pretty effectively against LSU. Some of the drives stalled and didn't come up with the correct result. But what is something that you kind of take from that?
Well, again, I thought our guys competed extremely hard. I thought our quarterback played well, in some areas. I thought our line protected well. We blocked well. But again, there's still growth that needs to happen. I think we all know that at every position. But I think, there was a little success there, but we didn't finish some drives, as you just mentioned, in the scoring zone that we got to make sure we finish those starting from here on.
And Coach, to follow up with that, we saw that you pulled Miles. He was getting kind of hot. You kind of pulled Miles. Was that by design or was there something else that you saw that you felt that you need to get him out of there?
No, that was by design. To me, when the game was starting to get out of reach, I didn't think it was smart of me to have him in there. Again, he's our starting quarterback. We want to make sure we do everything we can to protect him. We had a big season ahead of us. So I wanted to make sure we walked out of that game with him upright and ready to go for the next week.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and all the G-men are well. When JR scored, that game was tied at 7s. Just take us back to that point. And again, very competitive early on.
Well, absolutely. They had went down and scored. I'm talking about LSU, and we were able to answer. Our offense came out and did a great job. Real good mix of our game plan that led us to a score. And so I think our guys really felt like we were in the game and doing extremely well. And if you remember, even the next drive that we had after they had scored, we got down there, had to settle for a field goal. So I think we have a chance to be good on offense. We're just scratching the surface on how good we can be. We got to just keep chasing it every day, every week, and continue to get better.
Coach, the ongoing thing of HBCU and SWAC players getting an opportunity to play on Sundays. This past weekend, that was a great opportunity, a stage. Just talk about that ongoing conversation, and guys want to measure themselves, and other teams want to play against HBCUs too to see what's going on.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's important for us to have these kind of games, regardless of scores or any of that. A lot of these student athletes love to compete at the highest of level and see exactly where they are. No different, as you said, the SEC schools want to see who are these HBCU schools that everybody's talking about? So, like I said, Dion has done a great job, and Shador, the things that him and Travis Hunter have said about the conference, that says a lot, because those guys are now trending up there and doing extremely well. And they were in this conference and did extremely well. I don't think it's much of a difference either, other than the resources that these schools have. So these players deserve those opportunities to be seen at the high level.
Thank you, sir. Good luck going forward.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Jim.
Hey, Coach, Jaquavius Richmond got hurt badly, it looked like. I was wondering if you had an update on his status.
We're still, obviously, I think we're trending in the right direction. It's unfortunate. We're praying for him, his family, but I think we're moving in the right direction for sure.
Is he in the hospital still, or?
I don't have that information. I would have to get our medical team. I would have to meet with our medical team, I should say, this morning to know exactly where he is.
Thank you.
Sure.
Next question goes to Perry.
Coach, you seem to be a lot more excited this season than last season. Let's talk about the nature of that excitement in your football team.
Well, because I know who our football team is now. I know who the quarterback is. I know the other pieces that are there, and they're players that we recruited into the program. So you feel a little bit more comfortable about what you have and what you potentially can be. I feel good heading into this season. Obviously, we'd love to have a win under our belt. We don't yet. So we're looking forward to getting in the win column and keep playing and keep getting better. But I see our team starting to get better in some areas. There's still some areas we got to work through and get better at. But I see the potential of us being really good by the end of the season.
And you taking the Grambling State Tigers into Death Valley was a historic moment for the state of Louisiana. Can you talk about the discrepancy in resources between the two programs and how that affects your competitiveness on the field?
Well, obviously, to be the first, that was exciting to do, to take Grambling State University into Death Valley against LSU, and I will always remember that. But there is a real discrepancy in state when you talk about LSU, Grambling State, when it comes to resources. Whether it's there's not one that's not different. The football field that we played on was just phenomenal. The locker room was phenomenal. Everything that's associated with their program is that way. Someone told me the seats that were between the 45-yard lines, you got to pay $1,500 just to be able to to be in the drawing to get one of the seats. So that says a lot, right? So that means they have a lot going for them. We don't have those things. And to me, there's a huge disparity that way. But I think we also showed that there's not a huge disparity when it comes to athletes when you're talking about our first teams, for that first quarter. But obviously they can wear you down because they have all those other resources from, I'm sure, nutritionists, the weight room, and all those other resources and modalities that they have after the weight room. I think that's where the big difference is.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck on your season.
Sure.
Currently taking questions for Coach Jackson with Grambling State. Any final questions? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
We'll now go to Arkansas Pine Bluff at 11:05. We're a few minutes ahead of schedule. We want to give all of our media opportunity to join with us. Coach Hampton will be from 11:05 to 11:15. We'll start here roughly in about a minute and a half. Thank you for your patience. Just a quick reminder, if you do have questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature here on Zoom to get your question in the queue for our coaches. Please make sure that your lines are muted unless you are actively asking a question. We ask you please also wait to be called upon prior to asking your questions. We will send out the recording of this media session immediately following the conclusion of our conference. And once again, we ask that you email us if you are not already on the distribution list to receive the recordings. You can send that email request to a.roberts@swac.org. And with that being said, we're happy to be joined by Coach Hampton with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's pass outing versus Tennessee State.
Obviously, we're disappointed we didn't get the win, but it was a great Southern Heritage Classic. Fans came out in droves, supported us. Mr. Jones put on a tremendous classic. The city of Memphis was great. You got to give hats off to Coach Eddie George and his group. They came up with the victory in the end. We had a chance to win it. They blocked a field goal at the end and scored one like 30 seconds. But obviously, we got better from game one to game two, and looking forward to playing a really good Miles football team this week back at home.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody in Pine Bluff are well. Take us back to the fourth quarter in Memphis at the Classic. What did you see out there? And you guys were able to score, and you were right there. But take us back to that football game.
Obviously we were down 14-0 at half and just told the kids we were down 2 plays. And, obviously that's what it felt like. We had some drives moving early in the game and got penalties or got a sack. Just kind of threw us off rhythm. And then in the third and fourth quarter, we were able to get our feet up under us and made a couple adjustments. And then the offense started moving the ball. And now you're talking, the score is 17-14. We got the ball driving down. And in my mind, we're going to score to win the game. Going to be 21-17. But obviously, they got we took a couple shots in the end zone. And they were the right plays, and they made the plays. And then we tried our field goal kicker out there, had obviously a low snap, and they ended up blocking it, and we didn't do a good job of covering it. And the score should have been 17-14. But I like to fight him in our football team. And again, as I told him, man, it's about restoring the pride. I thought we made a good jump from game one to game two, but we got a long ways to go. But we're excited to get home this week, man, and look at some familiar faces and some familiar places, and hopefully this place will be rocking.
Coach, putting your stamp on this football program, it looks that way. Just talk a little bit about that.
Well, obviously for me, man, everything we do, you got to be able to compete. And I wanted to see our guys go out there and fight. Like I said, it was 14-0, but it felt like it was like a play here, a play there. And so I just looked them in the eyes and said, fellas, listen, man, this is life. This is what happened. Somebody just hit you twice. Now you got a chance to go out there in the third quarter. Now let's start hitting back. And so the defense kept us in the game for as long as possible. And the offense kind of picked it up, man. We found a really, really good running back. He was here last year, redshirted, but the guy we had, he was really good too. He finished second in the league. He actually transferred to Tarleton. But hey, man, we always say one person don't stop the show. When one person leaves, the next guy got to step up. And so our offense, the running back position is really, really good for us. We got 2 quarterbacks that can really lead our offense. Obviously we got to shore up some things as far as pass protection, but those are minor details. And but I like the direction that our program is going, and we're still excited about the Golden Lions.
Thank you, Coach.
Next question goes to Brandon King.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning, sir.
Right. Speaking of your running backs, can you talk about Mr. Davis? You've been in previous weeks really complimentary of his performance on the football field, and he had himself quite a game on Saturday, running for 167 yards and a touchdown, and even catching several passes out of the backfield. Can you talk about that? And has he even exceeded the expectations that you had for that young man coming into the season?
Well, obviously he has, because like I said, in the spring, he wasn't able to practice much. And then, he had some issues that his body wouldn't let him do it. And man, I give that young man a lot of credit. He went back home and he got a lot of treatment. He got a lot of mobility in him, and he came back, man. He was like almost like a Greek god, man. He kind of like beats his body up, and he runs angry, and he loves the game of football. Like the more they hit him, the more he likes it. So anytime you got a running back like that, you're gonna have a chance to win a football game. And a lot of times, man, we don't have clean looks up there, and we'll get that shored up. But man, all he needs is a little crease because he runs physical. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and I mean, he took a good hit on the swing route, and he popped right up. Most people would stay down. He's like, "Coach, I'm good to go." And so I'm excited about his future. A lot of our players are, as someone I said earlier on the call, now you're getting a chance to know who your football team is. And yeah, we're 0-2. But I do like the progress that we're making, and we just need to be able to get one on the board for our guys this week, playing a really good opponent that's 2-0, just beat Alabama State. So they got our full attention, and so it'll be a good game.
All right. Good luck this week. Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Next question goes to Tanner.
Hey, Coach, hope you're having a good start to your week. You mentioned just a moment ago, Miles College, they just beat Alabama State, 2-0 football team with a SWAC win under their belt, even though they're Division II. What's been your first impression of that program and the kind of challenges that they might bring to you on Saturday?
Well, Coach, obviously they play hard. I mean, they played to the end of the game, and they were down 14-0, but they never gave up. And obviously, the quarterback, I think he transferred from UAM. It was a baseball play. He can really spin it. I mean, they got 3-4 receivers that are really good football players. And I tell everybody, man, we keep talking about all these different levels, D2, FCS, Power 5, Group of 5. They got football players. And that's what I love about college football. Like, it's me versus you. All right, I'm a DB, you're a corner. All right, you're a receiver. I'm a tight end. I'm a linebacker. They got football players that can play on this level and the next level above. Let's talk about Group of 5. And so we're going to have our work cut out for us, but we're excited about the opportunity. Man, we're not going to back down. We're going to give them all due respect, but we're ready for them. We'll be ready on Saturday when they get to Pine Bluff, Arkansas.
Coach, obviously, I know I've been asking you a lot about your offense lately, but your defense has played well through 2 weeks. Got you some turnovers at Tulsa, did a good job last week. What's been your impression of how the defense has played so far?
Coach, I'll be honest, man. I think we left a lot of meat on the bone, man. I mean, I'm more disappointed in the 99-yard drive that Tennessee State, we had a great punt, pinned them on the 1-yard line. And, man, we let them off the hook. When I say let them off the hook, they hit 2 third-down plays that we had to stop. We missed tackles, and one guy just didn't do his job. So that's frustrating to me because, like I said, man, I think our defense has a chance to be really good. And all we got to do is do our assignment, do your 111. And so those are the things that we're working on. And I tell defense this, if the other team don't score, we're going to win anyway, right? So that's the mentality that we got to have on defense. And we got to continue to work. And like you said, we got to work on being perfect at our position. That's it. Don't work about the next man. You just be perfect at your position, do your part. And then as a whole, the Golden Line defense will be pretty good. So I'm excited about the progress, but we still got a ways to go. And I just want to become a dominant defense. Obviously, the offense fills the stands, but the defense is going to win the championship.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Henry.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? It's Henry Pugh with the HBCU Hour, presented by the Golden Boot. How are you today?
I'm doing great, my man. How you doing?
Doing good, Coach. Can you talk about this week being the first home game and what you're most looking forward to playing in front of your home crowd?
Well, I'll be honest, just for me being a Southeast Arkansas guy, my hometown's 45 minutes away. Man, I'm just excited about seeing all the black and gold inside our own stadium. Last week, I mean, it was tremendous. I'm not going to even tell you any stories, man. I looked up there, it was black and gold all over that place. But, you know, for our kids, it's the field that we practice on. You get to wake up in your bed on campus type of deal, and you get a chance to be around your classmates, and your classmates get a chance to support you. So we owe them. And so that's what you're most excited about. And obviously, man, being a head coach here, get a chance to run out of the sun here at home. That's exciting, man. And when they brought me back here, I visualized this day for years, man. And so now it's here. I'm excited about it. I just got to remember to stay calm and all right, make sure my shoes are tied up and don't trip over my feet when I'm running down the sideline.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Ville's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, how you doing, Dr. Cavill?
I'm good. You have me excited. I like that. Talking about being clean. Your quarterback played with a clean sheet in terms of not the turnovers, as well as the team, among other things. But talk a little bit about the 6'5", 205, Jalen Macon. You know, I'm sure he was excited to go back to Tennessee, being out of Nashville, to get a take on Tennessee State. How did he perform in regards to keeping his head, even though that was taken?
Well, obviously, Jalen started a couple games last year, and I think he got injured. But Jalen is a very calm football player, big, tall, lanky guy. A lot of people don't think he can run. He can run, and he can flat out spin it. His best days are ahead of him. I think he's a redshirt freshman. I mean, we got two really, really good quarterbacks, and Jalen has an opportunity to be really good in this league. And so we're just going to continue to keep him upright and let him see the field, keep the thing simple for him. But I was happy for him because, like you said, he came in and he didn't turn the ball over, and he made the correct throws and got us lined up. And so he'll only get better. And I tell everybody, man, we got two really, really good quarterbacks, and they both add a different dimension to the game. And so we're excited about them and looking forward to having both of those guys for years to come.
Follow-up question in terms of the upcoming matchup. Obviously, things in so many different ways, and some of those about the nomenclature of where a team their space in regards to where they operate, FCS, FBS, so forth. With that being said, how do you get your team and players to focus like you talk, regardless of division? It's about the man-on-man matchup, doing your team. What kind of things do you talk about throughout the week to create focus that you are telling us that we need to understand from a media perspective?
Well, obviously, you look at it like this. You have a team that's 2-0 versus a team that's 0-2. All right. That team just, Miles College just beat a team that's in our conference that beat Southern the week before. So what more motivation do you need? You know what I'm saying? Like that's a good football team. Once you turn the film on, you watch those receivers, like, wait a minute. Like, they got some really good receivers. I can use some of them. You know what I'm saying? So as a competitor, you want to dominate the man in front of you. And so that's all we need to do. We need to go out there and win our battles. And so it's not hard to motivate our guys. We haven't won a game this year. And as most people, and I keep telling the kids, I know y'all don't believe me yet. I'd be like, Coach, man, you be saying a lot of good stuff, but we ain't won no games. And so as a coaching staff, we still got to get these young men to buy in and to believe us. Like the first half against Tulsa, we wasn't very good offensively. We made a couple drives. Then the first quarter, the first half against Tennessee State, we wasn't very good. Then the offense, third and fourth quarter, they picked it up, started moving the ball. That's the offense that I visualize us having, okay? Defense, all right? We had 2 bad drives in the first half, gave them 14 points. Now let's go back and be who we were in the second half. We only gave up 1 score, 1 field goal. So we got a lot of work to be done. And on special teams, man, we got to shore up a couple things in the return game and just blocking in general. So we got a long ways to go. So like I said, if I'm playing a team that's undefeated versus a team that haven't won in the game, who you think got the confidence? Miles College do. But I tell you this, our job as coaches to get our players motivated to go out and earn your first right. And I tell them every day, it's a cost to win it. You got to earn it in practice. I heard a couple of coaches say it on here. You can't just show up on Saturday and expect to win. Hey, and I hate to say it, I think that's what happens a lot of times. Just because you win the week before, you think you automatically win the next week. It doesn't work like that. Every day presents a new opportunity to go out and get better. And that's what the Golden Lions are. We have academic Mondays today, no football. And then on Tuesday, we'll get cranked back up.
Thank you, Coach. Look forward to the matchup.
Thank you, sir.
Coach Hampton, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll now go to Mississippi Valley State and head coach Kendrick Wade. Coach Wade, obviously, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Obviously, a bye week for your program this past week. So if you could just start us out by recapping your bye week.
Oh, man, it was a great week. Just kind of refocus, reset, and just focus on just basic fundamental things that we need to focus on. Just kind of get back to the basics of just Mississippi Valley State football. The guys were able to get a couple of days off this weekend, just kind of, rest their body as we get ready for this 10-week stretch. But all in all, it was a really good week.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Coach Wade, what are the benefits or your thoughts, and maybe not so much, in regards to having an open week this early in the season?
The bad thing about it is, coming off a loss, you're ready to get right back. So that's the bad part. The good thing about it is just being able to kind of rest. And, the message this week has been, these guys ready to get back out there. They're ready to get back out and play on a Saturday, but time waits for nobody, time stops for nobody, and doesn't speed up for anybody. So the question is, what are you going to do while you wait? So we just focus on just going back to just doing things the right way, as far as just kind of how we approach not games, but how we approach practice. Are we still doing the little things that it takes to be successful? So that's been the biggest thing.
Follow-up, next matchup, Delta State. In terms of region, we discussed last week, rivalry type matchup because of how close the institutions are. With that being said, they jumped out and seemed to be able to put the ball in the end zone, put up some points, averaging 42, as you know. But your defense has been pretty solid. What do you want to see your defense do against this Delta State offense?
Put pressure on that quarterback. They go as he go. Patrick Shegard, the reigning Gulf South Offensive Player of the Year. So again, just kind of putting pressure on him and just being disciplined, being good on our fits as far as run fit, eyes being where they're supposed to be. If you're a deep third player, you need to get to your spot. So just doing the small, basic, fundamental things that we need to do is going to be very essential as far as, as we get ready for Delta State. The thing about this team that jumps out, they fundamentally sound. They don't beat themselves. So we can't put ourselves in position to beat ourselves. So we got to do what we're supposed to do when we're supposed to do it at all times. We like the matchup, honestly. We do. They're a good football team. Offensively, they're really good. But defensively, we got some guys as well that can kind of match up with those guys. So we're looking forward to this matchup.
No doubt, I am as well. Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next up, we'll take a question from Mike Prince. All right. Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody at the Valley of Scholars are well. Just talk a little bit about this particular game coming up, the anticipation. You go on the road up 61 to Cleveland. Instead of them coming to, when I covered it, they came to Valley, but now you go back on the road to Cleveland, an area you're familiar with. But just take us into the anticipation, and everybody from Clarksdale all around the region will be looking at this game.
Man, I hate to sound like it's coach speak, but, people on the outside are super excited about the game. We're focused on getting back out there to practice tomorrow, just having the best Tuesday practice that we've had is our focus. We do understand how excited everybody, there's a lot of people excited about it. But again, for us, the moment we start focusing on the excitement of it is the moments that we stop doing the things that we need to do to go out there and be successful on Saturday. So, we're going to let everybody around us be excited about it, and we're glad they are. But again, our job and our focus is to go out and prepare the best way we can so we can go out there Saturday and put our best foot forward.
Coach, defensively, what's the mindset going in?
Our guys they're ready to get back out there. They felt like, there were some plays from the previous game that they left out there, then take full advantage of. So they're ready to get out there and get after these guys. And we know Delta State is going to be physical. So, that's kind of, we pride ourselves on being a physical bunch as well. So defensive guys been walking through the office, and you just see it in their eyes that they're ready to go out here and, it's good be good, and like I said, we're looking forward to it, man. We really are.
Have a blessed week.
Thank you, sir.
We'll take a question from Charles Bishop.
Coach Wade, how you doing?
Hey, Charles, how you doing, buddy?
Obviously, you're super familiar with Delta State's football culture, unique football culture. But if you take a look at their football culture, what are some things that you can take from them that you're trying to implement into the Delta Devil football culture?
Man, I tell you, man, those guys show up every single day with the same singular mindset, every single day. Regardless of win a game, lose a game, every single day. Coach Todd Cooler, he does a great job of just kind of ensuring that everybody's doing their job, not just the players, but coaches. He challenged guys every single day. The coaches are challenged, the players are challenged to go out and be the best version of themselves. And that's what we pride on here at the Valley, you know. So the first moment I got here, the one thing I always preach about is creating an environment where reaching your best is the standard every single day. So, you know, they pride themselves on being the best version of themselves each and every day. And that's something that we believe in and we preach over here at the Valley as well.
Sure thing. I appreciate your time, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Last question goes to Mike Prince.
Good morning, Coach. This is Dr. Mike Prince from the Open Mic. Welcome, I guess you say, back to the conference and everything. When you inherit this team, you brought in 61 new players, and you just recently talked about the culture change, and you also mentioned about returning to Valley way of playing ball. What is the Valley way of playing ball, and what do you see as the greatest challenge right now in implementing that new culture change?
Well, the Valley way under my leadership is just, we're going to be disciplined, we're going to be focused, we're going to be physical, and we're going to do things the right way, not only on the field, but off the field. You know, a lot of those intangibles off the field as far as how you carry yourself around campus, and are you going to class? Are you sitting at the front of the class? Are you walking around with your pants not hanging off your backside? Just all those small things that's important to not only winning and being successful in football, but also in life, you know, just being respectful, treating women with respect, and really just having self-respect for yourself. The biggest thing is just kind of getting guys to see how what you do off of the field, how it's directly connected to what you do on the field. You know, for those guys, they think, you know, you can go out and be a disciplined football player and not be disciplined in the classroom, not be disciplined in the community. You know, just kind of, I think that's the biggest thing, just kind of getting those guys to connect those things. You know, how you do anything is how you do everything, you know, so you don't make a distinction between when you do what's right, when you know, do what you want to do is already you know, set and is directly connected, and just trying to get those guys to understand that, I think, is the biggest challenge.
Okay, my final question, Coach, with the bye week that you had, you get a chance to tweak some things and enhance on some other areas. What have you seen was the greatest leap of improvement during your bye week?
The greatest leap, honestly, man, is guys being able to look at that film and see that it's what we didn't do. We offensively, defensively, we pretty much gonna be the same. You know, but guys just seeing that if you do your job on a consistent basis, the game plan was in. It was a good game plan on both sides of the ball, actually all three phases of it. But we just went back to just us. Like, honest, that's the biggest thing, us. Are we the best version of ourselves? You know, not beating ourselves. And, you know, if we beat ourselves on Tuesday, then we'll find a way to beat ourselves on Saturday. So just getting these guys to understand that every day is very important. You know, 90% of our kids, 95%, they have the will to win. But do you have the will, you know, just the process of winning, of doing those small things that it takes to win on a daily basis. So again, just a lot of self-assessment, a lot of self-correction. And I think it'll show up on Saturday.
All right, Coach. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Coach Wade, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Now go to Prairie View A&M. Head coach Bubba McDowell.
Hello, guys. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Coach. And as always, we appreciate you take some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out by recapping your team's most recent outing versus Abilene Christian.
Yeah, going into this game, again, we just try to keep these kids focused all week long, coming off a big win last week, and just letting them know that, you know, that game is in the past, and we got to get ready for a good football team coming in, Abilene Christian, and more importantly, you know, help them understand that we played these guys real close last year. I think we had a chance last year to win that game. We fell short. and that we can do it again this year if we just came in and did what we're supposed to do. But they started off the game throwing the ball. Great coverage by Freddie Bird, and then it came right back. Hit us with a touchdown. And then we just kind of fell apart from there. Again, just special team wise, we wasn't blocking. Wasn't happy with that. We wasn't blocking a whole lot of guys, even though he was kicking out of the end zone. Again, we just we wasn't on all cylinders together as a group. Again, but we came out second half. We went in the second half. I said some things that I normally don't say. We came out, second half and played good football. Again, our numbers doesn't show, what we should have had, score wise. We stopped them defensively running the ball. Unfortunately, we couldn't stop them with, the throwing, the passing, but, two guys, blowing coverages down in that fourth quarter, really hurt us as well. Again, we had a block punt for a touchdown, fumble ball on the 1 yard line going into the end zone, fumble, we were driving the ball, double A, fumbled the ball going, I think on the 5 yard line, somewhere around there. Again, all momentum in the second half that was going our way, but then, making those mistakes, those turnovers cost us. And again, you can't, win against a football team like that, against ACU, and expect to win the football game. 4 or 5 turnovers against any average team, you're not going to win games. Then we was in the red zone again, I think around the 8 yard, 10 yard line, going in and we throw an interception. So, we got to go into this week, against a good team, big team, fast team. We know who they are, and correct a lot of mistakes, and I think if we do that, we're going to play much better football. But again, we had a chance, we had our chances, we didn't capitalize on them. And, anytime you do that, have those mistakes and turnovers, you're not going to win the game.
Appreciate those opening comments. Coach, first question goes to Charles.
Coach McDowell, how you doing, sir?
Hey, C, how you doing, buddy?
I wanted to ask, and you and I talked a little bit about Abilene Christian with regards to physicality in the run game, but the fact that they opened up the passing game as well as they did that kind of catch you off guard a little bit in regards to schematically what they were going to do?
No, not at all. I mean, Coach Fosselman had these guys ready to go. We knew what they was going to do offensively, run the ball, pass the ball. Just more of us, being in position and talking back there in secondary, which again, for us to be successful. Again, we were pretty successful in stopping the run, but now, stopping the pass, we're going to have to do some things a little different to help our corners back there this week, and going forward. But yeah, we knew what they was going to do. It was just more of us going out, executing the assignments that they should have executed, down the stretch. In that game, I'm sorry.
A quick follow-up, and you mentioned the score was not really indicative of how well you guys moved the football, but especially I think 3 red zone turnovers, but just moving forward, just kind of what does it look like in terms of shoring up what you guys do within the red zone?
Well, again, we're not going to change anything different than what we've been doing. And we know we got guys that can score. We know we can move the ball when we need to. Again, just we got to figure out how not to make the mistakes, not turn the ball over. And guys, if we do that, we're a pretty good goddamn football team at that, and that's what I'm telling them, out there practice today. I said, shoot, it's not like they did a whole lot to win the game. They just made more plays than we did and capitalized on mistakes. Now we, on the other hand, have to stop giving good football teams those opportunities. And I think if we do that, then we'll win a lot of games if we don't turn the ball over.
Good thing. Appreciate you, Coach.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody at Prairie View are well. Talk a little bit about your quarterback, Trezon, what you're seeing from that gentleman so far.
Trezon, again, he's doing what he's asked to do. He's commanding the offense and moving the ball, throwing the ball. Still missing some key things that he should be looking at, seeing and throwing. But I would say right now he is definitely doing what we asked him to do. You know, he's commanding, moving the offense like he should, and that's all we can ask of him because he's an athlete. You know, we know he can run, he can pass the ball, and you know these little mysteries that he's not seeing. You know, he's going to get better as he continues to look at film and correct himself.
Coach, going into the next contest, it's Southern Methodist, the Mustangs. The Dallas market. Talk a little bit about recruiting and people in that area get an opportunity to see you guys and they want to be a part of what you guys are doing.
Yeah, they should be. You know, we got a good football team. We got a good coaching staff as well. You know, and we've recruited Dallas heavy, man, in the past year. So it ain't gonna be no difference. You know, we got to go in there again. You know, these guys gotta show SMU, you know, that they come to play, and I think if we do that, you know, we'll minimize that score, you know, the scoring, should I say. If everybody just go out and do their 100, you know, defensively, offensively, you know, and put on a good show. I mean, again, you know, they want to play against some of the best. They want to be, you know, one of the best. You know, what better opportunity to show against, a great football team that's up and coming. You know, they played Oklahoma really well, BYU. You know, they're a good football team, you know, and again, also to show those guys, kids, players in the Dallas area, you know, ones that are from there, you know, that this is what you can do. If you come to PV, you know, do what you're supposed to do, just start, you know, and make plays, you know, and that's what we want to show these guys, you know, again, that you can make a lot of plays. You can come down, you can go to SWAC schools and get great coaching, you know, and do some things, you know, if you're trying to get to the next level, whatever level that may be, you know, just come do what you got to do and have fun doing it.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
You too, Mike. Thanks, James.
Next question goes to Mike Prince.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's up, Doc?
All right, man. Look, I know when you summarize the game, I summarize as blown opportunities, but you did have some lights to shine during last week's performance. In particular, your run attack, and hopefully the O-line is not as banged up as you had from this last game.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty banged up right now. And again, we're probably going to be without 3 starters right now. But again, we got to hold them out. We got to get these guys ready to go for the games that count. Again, we got some young guys who are going to have to step up, you know, and do what they came in here and taught to do, you know, and what great opportunity for these young men to get against a great team and, you know, show what they can do.
Yes, sir. Now, my follow-up question is this. Although the defense did rebound toward the end and some open plays during the pass, but from our assessment, maybe you can help fill in the blank, was that due to lack of pressure from the front line on the defensive line side?
Not at all, Mike, not at all. Just due to the guys not doing what they're supposed to do in their secondary. Our D-line played really well. Linebackers played well. You know, we just had a lot of miscommunication in the backfield, which we will get corrected.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach, and good luck this week, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Last question goes to Dr. Cavill. Last question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Dr. Cavill's Inside HBCU Sports Lab. It was just asked, obviously, we were able to run effectively, 299 yards, average 5 yards a carry, and got in the end zone twice. But in terms of that, there was one call where it looked like I might have gotten the end zone, which happens, but there wasn't a review. Was there anything of why they didn't review it?
And nothing was said. They said they reviewed it up there in the box, and that was all they told us. You know, we even reviewed the Ahmad Antoine fumble as well, the second fumble when we was driving. We reviewed that. They said they was reviewing up in the box, and that was all they gave us.
Understand. In regards to one follow-up question, the balance that you're able to do between the run and passing ball receivings, although it didn't necessarily get in the end zone, and you talked about that with deep turnovers. Talk about the balance you're able to do, not just being as effective running, but also being able to throw the ball.
Yeah, and again, like I said, Trayvon did a great job, again, just managing. We know he can throw the ball. We know that we got wide receivers that can catch the ball. Again, it's just, we got to go out and execute Doc. And again, if we execute the things that they taught, and that we go over and practice throughout the whole week, and do it in game time again where it counts, we'll be pretty good than a football team. We'll be very hard to beat, if we, again, as we say, on all cylinders, these guys are doing what they're supposed to do and actually do. We're a pretty good football team. But then it's when you don't do that, we get in trouble.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, Doc.
Coach, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you. We now go to Southern University. Head coach Eric Dooley. Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. If you could please start us out by recapping this past week's outing versus Jackson State.
Yes, good morning. Had a tough outing. It sounded like a recording, but played a very good football team that came in and wanted to be physical. There was no question about that, and I thought they did a great job. I thought throughout that game we had some missed opportunities. Of course, I call it the green zone. When you get in the green zone, you got to take care of the football. You got points there, so we got to make sure we take care of that. Turnover killed us, but tackling killed us as well. We pride ourselves on being a fast and physical defense, and some things didn't take place. But of course, that's up to me. We got to make those corrections and move forward, because that has nothing to do with Alabama A&M, who has a great football team and has a great coach that's been around for a long time and understand the X's and O's. So we know we have a challenge right now. There's no question that our backs is against the wall, but now who's going to come out swinging? And we look forward for a huge challenge come this Saturday versus Alabama A&M.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Jim.
Yeah, Coach, after looking at the film, was there anything you saw that hurt y'all offensively? It looked like y'all moved the ball and hit some plays, but just not anything consistently. Did you see anything on film that changed your mind?
No, nothing changed my mind. I thought, being in that green zone, when you got an opportunity to capitalize, you got to capitalize off that. And then I would miss some things that was out in the open field that could have changed the game around. So there's some things, one or two things. It's just like, other coaches have said, previous coaches, this league is very, very talented, and, a play here, a play there can change the whole game and put you in a bad situation. So we got to correct those things. The things we have corrected still not benefiting for us to get W's. We corrected the discipline side for us, penalties, but now we just got to put the ball in the end zone, and that's what I'm a part of.
Coach, I also noticed that Noah Bodden got up and warmed up a little bit. Was that because of that shot to the head that Harold Blood took on the targeting?
Well, you got to always be prepared. He took a shot right there. It don't change. Football been like that for 100 years, and it won't change, blocking and tackling. So it's going to always be physical. We just was getting him prepared just in case if he had to go in. We don't want to send him in there blind, and he has not warmed up. So we was just prepared and having the heads up on the sideline.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill is inside the HBCU Sports Lab. In terms of that matchup, in a lot of ways, it's back and forth and then turn late in the game. What things do you do to talk to your players in terms of them to continue to focus, to continue to grow, even though they had two disappointing losses early in the season?
And I'm a guy, they're very, very, I love competitive, I should say, a better choice of word, competitive. Fortunate for us as a team, those two losses hurt personally because of what you want to do, but it doesn't stop you for your goals because of the magnitude of the game. You're talking about playing two top opponents in the conference, you always want to win. And it doesn't matter if you're playing an FBS, you still want to win. That has to be the mindset. So we got to refocus and understand that everything that we set out that we want to do, we can do. And believe it or not, that's just to go 1-0. We still can go 1-0. And I think it still puts us in a good situation. So it's going to be challenging. There's no question about that. It's not like we're facing a team that we automatically supposed to win. We're facing a good football team with an excellent coach that I believe that is a great coach. So we got our challenges, but we're going to definitely be up for the challenge.
With said, moving on to that next game, in fact, this is the start of the conference slate, even though those were conference opponents in the first two, they were not conference contests. You play Alabama A&M that seems to be putting things together, being able to be effective offensively, but even more so defensively. What are you seeing from the Bulldogs in terms of what they bring to the table defensively?
Well, you know, when you look at their defense, they're big and fast and strong. So you can see that, and they're applying pressure and getting to the football. And you always want 11 hats to the ball. That's what you preach over and over. And then you got some guys had some takeaways. You got to always be mindful when you got several guys in your secondary have interceptions, and then you have a guy that's lead. You're talking about sacks. So all those things are very concerning. They got some players that we feel that are very, very impactful to their defense. So it's not just one guy you got to concentrate on. I think they got a unit, and that's always good for a head coach to have a unit, especially a guy that's an offensive-minded guy. To have a defense that's playing to that level is always pleasing to him.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend. Look forward to the match.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody on the Bluff are well. When you think about the health factor, health and strength, getting out of last week, moving into this weekend, what goes through your mind?
Well, I mean, it's a contact sport, ain't no question about it. So we know things like that's going to happen. You're going to have your bumps and bruises, just who can return back and who can return back to play. I think after you get to the third game of the season, there's not a person that's 100%. So you just got to know how much can you tolerate? How much can you bear? What can you do? How deep can you go down and go get it? So it's just all gut check now. What are you going to bring to the table? And my team going to bring it to the table. They're going to play. They're going to play tough. They're going to play hard. They understand the situation that we're in, but they also understand no one put us in that situation. We put ourselves. So we got to dig ourselves out of that situation.
Coach Dooley, Alabama A&M comes in, Coach Maynard and his Bulldogs, but just talk a little bit about defending Mumford this weekend and playing the type of football you want to play.
Well, we got to play fast and we got to play physical. I always pride myself in saying we got to play basketball on the football field. That means going up and down, and that's some of the things we got to do. And I thought we had gotten away from it. But you know, it's not the I would never point a finger at a player. That's on me. I'm the head coach. I'm the one get paid to take care of this here. So I got to get these guys moving in the direction, however I choose to do it.
Thank you, sir. Have a blessed week.
Thank you. You too.
Last question goes to Perry.
Hey, Coach Dooley. So we know how prolific you like offense and your ideas for the performance of this year Jaguars offense. On a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highly dynamic, high scoring offense that you desire, where is your offense now?
I said a 4. We haven't tipped the scale. You're talking about in 2 weeks, we only put up 24 points. That's not something that you got to pride yourself on. Yeah, you just need one more point than the next opponent to win the game. There's no question about it, but I feel we have the weapons and we have the tools to get the things that we need to get done. Now, that still falls up on me. There's some things that we got to do. Because I say we're at a 4, that doesn't mean that the player's not going out there and they're not practicing hard. They're not doing the things that's conducive. I got to put them in a better situation to have a better outcome. That's the way I look at it. When I look at myself, I don't look at anyone else. I look in the mirror, and the mirror reflects me. Some of the things I need to do. I got to make the adjustment. I got to be able to do the things that's going to bring us to be that type of offense that I already visioned that we are.
And Coach, you're playing your third SWAC East opponent, and you were chosen to win the SWAC West. Is there imbalance of power in the conference?
When you look at all the teams are great to me. Any team can beat any team, and it doesn't. I understand you're talking about the East, you're talking about the West. You can go for us the North and the South if you want to. You can play any team within this conference, and you better be ready to battle. Be ready to battle for 60 minutes. Because at this point in time right now, we have a great conference. We got some great coaches. We got some great players. So there's no doormat games by no means. I don't care what side you're on. You got to be ready to play. Be prepared to play for 60 minutes.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Dooley, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We now go to Texas Southern. head coach Clarence McKinney. Coach McKinney, we thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you would, please start us out with an opening statement, recapping your team's most recent outing at Toledo.
Took a trip up to Toledo, stepped up in conference, to FCS team, reigning MAC champion in Toledo. Was a very well coached team, tough opponent for us, very physical game. But we went out there and our guys competed as hard as we could, gave our best, and took it on the chin a little bit.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill, Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. Two-part question in this because it's both about the quarterback body in regards to, can you provide any update in terms of Andrew Body? And then with that, what was your thoughts in terms of the transfer that came in, sophomore Jace Wilson, in terms of his play?
Yeah, we don't have the information, nor will we give out the information on Body as far as injury goes. He was healthy enough to play. We went with the decision to play Jace Wilson, our backup. We need to get Jace some reps, get him some experience. And what better time to do that than against a quality opponent? We need to know what he can do in case he has to play when Andrew isn't available to play.
Second part of the question is about the matchup this week against Rice. Similar to what you did the first weekend with Labor Day Classic, conference rival. Theirs wasn't a conference game, but they had their rival U of H and pulled out the overtime win. Talk about what do you see on Rice in terms of last time you played them, you're able to put up some points, make it really interesting in terms of till the end where you didn't quite get the W. But what are you seeing from that team to this team now?
Yeah, Rice a much better team this year than what they were a few years ago. They're playing really good defense. Again, it's a step up in play for our guys going from FCS to FBS. We're playing our back-to-back FCS part of the schedule. We expect Rice to be very physical. They again, as you mentioned, beat their rival in the University of Houston. And they're playing really well right now. And in week one, they played the University of Texas extremely well. So we're looking into going in there and competing and Rice being very physical. It's going to be a quality game for us, and it'll let us know exactly where we are.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Good luck this week.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and the fellas are well. Houston area college football, Rice 43, Houston 41, a squeaker. This time you get an opportunity with your fan base to play Rice, but just talk about going in and you guys have a great opportunity.
Yeah, it presents a great opportunity for us. Hopefully we can catch them napping. Rice is not very far from us, so we're basically in the same neighborhood, just a couple streets over, and as we'll treat it like a home game. Hopefully we can get quite a bit of our fans out to support our guys and put forth, our best effort.
Coach, these ongoing conversations of PWI, HBCU, playing up, playing down, different divisions and what have you, just talk a little bit about that. And at the end of the day, it's a football game.
Oh, no doubt about it. At the end of the day, you got to, block, you got to tackle, you got to execute. Doesn't matter what level you're playing at. And guys that want to play at an even higher level than college football, what better way than to put forth your best effort and play, at your highest level than to do it against an FBS opponent. So you want to be seen by some NFL scouts or professional scouts, they're going to watch this video. So go put it on tape.
Have a great week, sir.
Thank you. You do the same.
Next question goes to Kyle T. Mosley.
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
How's it going, Kyle? All right.
Good. Talk about the backup's performance. I know you guys made a coaching decision to have Body sit, but what did you believe Body first learned about sitting and watching, as well as what did you see in Jason's performance to believe that he's capable of handling that backup role?
Buddy was his role became to become even more of a leader, kind of help Jason, let him know what he saw out there and just communicate with Jason and help Jason make decisions. As far as Jason's performance goes, he performed about how we expected. It's his first game in our scheme, and he just has to get more reps and get more comfortable with what we're asking him to do. We're not asking him to be Andrew Body. We're asking him to be Jason. And I think, with more reps, he'll get a chance to be more successful.
And what do you believe your team learned about competing against Toledo that would help them compete against Rice a little bit more effectively coming up?
Yeah, Toledo and Rice are two different opponents, in my opinion, but the competition level is similar. I think our guys understand that we have to execute at a high level, we have to be physical, and we have to play fast. And if we can do those things, we'll give ourselves a chance to be successful versus those teams.
All right. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you, Kyle.
Any final questions for Coach McKinney? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move over to Jackson State. Head coach T.C. Taylor. Once again, if you do have any questions for our coaches, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Please limit your questions to one initial question, potentially a follow-up question. If we have additional time and our coaches' availability, we will work our way back to get additional questions answered. All right, we have Coach Taylor joining us. All right, we've got Coach with us. Coach Taylor, as always, we sincerely appreciate take some time out of your schedule to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement recapping your team's most recent outing at Southern.
Great team win. Good job by my guys, bouncing back, this coaching staff, our players, going into a hostile environment down there in Baton Rouge, still out crowd, great turnout for us, JSU fans, Southern fans, but we talked about, how we got our butts kicked the previous week, and we wanted to come back and just show that we got the makings of a good football team going forward. We did that by playing physical, ran the football well, did some things a little bit better on special teams, still got some work to do, but very pleased with my football team this past weekend.
Appreciate those opening comments, Coach. First question goes to Charles Bishop.
How you doing, Coach?
What's up, Chuck? How you doing?
I'm good. Congratulations on the big win down there in Southern. I wanted to ask a little bit about the defensive line. You guys bounced back from the loss of FAMU, but a guy like Devontae Davis, what he means to the defensive line.
Yeah, he's the one true leader. We got a couple guys that we expect to lead, be out front when you talk about JSU football. Devontae Davis is that. He's a guy that, when I got here in 19, he was a freshman coming in. So he's been, originally with Jackson State, and he understands the JSU way, but plays hard, does everything the right way. It's been, like I said, a leader for this football team. When he speaks, the rest of the team basically is locked in when he talks, and he just goes out there and prove it with his play.
Very happy with his performance on Saturday. Dominant force, what all levels are looking for, in a D line. 6'4" kid, 300 pounds, just a brute of an athlete. So it's good to see him finally, getting it going, on last Saturday.
Sure. Follow up to that, and you touched on it with regards to special teams. You have a real weapon in punter Matt Knoll. Huge leg, had a 71-yarder this past week. But let me ask, does it become tough to manage such a big leg when he has the ability to sort of outkick the coverage?
Definitely. The thing that I was telling him in that game, you got the distance, but I need some height. This kid, we knew we was getting something special from far as recruiting when he was in the portal, All-American coming from Delaware State, and we've been seeing it in practice. But anytime you can have opportunity to flip the field, that's great for our football team. That's why you kind of see us. We have tried to get some fast guys out there at the gunner position. Andre Hunt with great speed, plays gunner. And if you look at it, when the one that they return, Hunt is right there in position to make that play. He broke down, did everything we coached him up to do. But kudos to the kid returning the kick. He made a heck of a move on him, to create that. I think he was inside the 5-yard line when he touched that football. I told Hunt the only thing you probably could have did a little different was just shoot your gun, pull the trigger, and throw your body at him. But Matt Knoll has been a pleasant surprise. It's good to have him here anytime. You got a kid can flip the field like that. He might be your best defensive weapon.
Sure thing. Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, I hope you and everybody at Jackson State are well. Talk about Mr. Brown, Jason Brown from Tech, throwing it around, and then what Mr. Rico Powers was able to do.
It's good to see the relationship those two are developing, going forward. They're going to be something to deal with if they can keep that chemistry going that they have. Very pleased with Jason's bounce back performance, no turnovers. He just went out there and managed the game well. That's all we asked him to do. We try to make sure the talent around him is on point, but he has to do some things. Basically, like I said, we're not asking you to go out there and take a game over, but just be smart with the football and do what you're supposed to do as a quarterback. And I thought he did that. He did a good job. It was surprising to me to see him run the ball because he run like paint dry. It's slow, but he was still very effective. The one zone read he pulls and gets a first down for us. The touchdown pass to Rico, for him to maneuver around in the pocket, he steps up. We've been on him about that. Breaks the pocket and he wants to run, but then he gets his eyes back downfield and gets his arm in a throwing position, rips it out there, and Rico Powers does the rest. I challenged him. Last week I felt like he didn't play tough. And I told him that. I told him that in the game. I said, you have got to be tougher for this football team. When you get knocked down, you got to get up, and your teammates got to see it. And I think that's why he took it up on himself to, when he had those opportunities to run the ball, he ran the ball, got behind his pads. And I told him on the sideline, I said, hey, man, you got to start sliding. And he said, you never taught me that. I said, man, you've been in school longer than I've been coaching, so you should already know how to slide. But very pleased with those two. And Rico Powers, he's a pro. Let's just be honest. The things that dude is doing out there now, and the scouts that come in here and see him, they salivating to get an opportunity to get him to the next level. We're blessed that he has another year of football, but world-class speed, big receiver that can run and catch the football. He did have the drop earlier, but that's how I kind of know what you're going to get out of Rico in the football game. If he can get that first drop out of the way early, he's going to be fine going forward. But cornerbacks, and you saw Southern do it, they're going to have to stay high on top of Rico. He don't get a lot of press coverage, and you can see why he showed it in that football game. And he, even the one kickoff return, we just a hair away from, popping that one out as well.
Coach, Texas State, what do you see when you look at that football team?
Big. He got some size down there on the offensive line, defensive line. A very active, well-coached football team. a quarterback that's played in the SEC, that's been around, played some snaps with some size. They can do it. Play with some tempo on offense, but it seems like they want to run the football and take their shots over the top. That's what I'm seeing offensively and defensively. Just meeting with my offensive staff a little while ago, they play with great leverage and effort. Each and every play. You look at the Baylor game, you see why they beat Baylor. They just played harder than that football team did. San Antonio, they played this past weekend, came out and matched them tick for tack. But it's going to be a challenging week. But I'm looking forward to it. Like I told my guys, if you got aspirations of playing on the next level, want to play, against these FBS opponents, these are the ones you got to get up for and be ready to go.
Thank you, sir. Have a great trip.
All right. Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
This is Kenyatta Cavill. Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
Hey,
Coach, many teams have just played 2 games. You played 3 out there, but what are your thoughts in terms of the first 3 games that you played thus far in terms of those matchups of your team?
It's been tough. That's what I told the team in the locker room after that Southern game. Hell, excuse me, but I'm tired of living out of suitcases. That's my wife been getting on my butt. It's been suitcases in the bedroom every night that I hadn't unpacked. And it's been a challenging schedule for our football team. For us to be at 2-1, and that one, we didn't play our best football game. We had a lot of mistakes on our end, but not taking nothing away from a good FAMU football team. But this has been a challenge. Our kids weren't ready to play here at the vet. But that's the way this thing played out. That's the schedule. We got whoever that team is, we're playing that particular weekend. Again, we're on the road this weekend at San Marcos. We got to go. We got to go because one thing I do know is not affecting our fans. They're showing up and showing out in numbers. So it's important that we're ready to go week in, week out, whether we're on the road and are we at home. And I think it tells you a lot about your football team when you're playing on these all these road games early on against these quality opponents that we gonna fight. We got a lot of fight in this football team. We're gonna play 4 quarters of football, and that's just something that I've seen with this football team. But Doc, it is what it is, But I do tell you, I do know this. After 3 weeks going in, I'm very pleased where we are as a football team and a program right now with this coaching staff and everything's going on. So I'm looking forward to getting back in the vet next week and a little more comfort here. I can unpack a bag real briefly because right after that we got to buy, and then we're going down to Huntsville, but is it Huntsville or Mobile? So, but it's been good. It's been good, and I'm gonna say this too: first time head coach, to have this kind of schedule coming out the gate. You talk about a South Carolina State, a FAMU, a Southern, and who is it? That team this weekend. I wouldn't have it no other way. It tells me a lot about me and my coaches as well.
No doubt, Coach. I'll let you go on that one. I don't want to spend no time as you got to pack your bags again. We'll catch you.
Hey, I told you I never did unpack.
Next question goes to Henry Pugh.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? It's Henry Pugh with the HBCU Hour presented by the Golden Boot. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good, Coach. When you have to these games and you go from a big win, point spread on your side, then go to a low was the point spreads on the opposite side and stuff. What kind of mentality does that, do you have to, I guess, talk to your players about going into the next game?
Mm-hmm. I always say just be who we supposed to be and play your game. We talked about being physical. We talked about not doing the things that get you beat, but that's what it is. Going into this Texas State game too, we had a lot of kids that we were recruiting, that they were recruiting, that went right down to the wire. That with a few of them we got and a few of them they got. So this is going to be a great challenge for our football team as well as theirs. And the recruiting piece of this whole deal, because I guarantee you come recruiting season, we'll be tit for tat trying to get some of the same players that they're trying to get in there as well. But you just try to get your football team to remain consistent. You know, that's the biggest thing for us right now. We coming off a huge win, like you said, Dr. Cavill was talking about the road trips and stuff, but we coming off another huge win. Coming off the road, we just got to go on the road, do it again. They're going to have a hostile crowd, but I guarantee you Jacktown going to be in the house, you know, so that's going to provide us some energy, some momentum as well. It's just up to us to go out there and do the little things right, missed tackles, red zone offense, third down offense, not turning the football over. So, you know, it's just business as usual this week for us.
Okay, Coach. And to follow that up, you talked about having to be on the road a lot. Does it help when you're able to look at the crowd and see, you know, those faithful there to kind of, I guess, lift you up as a player and both as a coach?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, we on the road, but it feels like a home game. All those fans up in there, you pull up to the hotel and you can just feel the love, you know, the JSU hats and jerseys and T-shirts everywhere. You know, it kind of comforts our football team, myself as a coach, as well as these other coaches. If you look at this game that we just played this past weekend, like I said, the fan base was tick for tack, and with us winning that game throughout, you could just hear JSU up in there. You know, it was kind of quiet on that other side, even though they had a nice little group over there, but you didn't hear a lot coming from over there. But you know, JSU rocks the house. You know, and that's what I tell my team. That's part of our responsibility. If they're gonna show up, we gonna play.
All right, thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Last question goes to Kyle.
Hey, Coach, Kyle T. Mosley, HBCU legend. You guys were rocking the house. I was there. And but one thing that kind of helped you guys, I noticed, was the 270 yards that you had on the rushing side.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a well-balanced attack that you guys have. Do you believe that can be able to be sustained going into Texas State?
I do. Here's the thing that people didn't realize too. You know, we were able to recruit some key players that came back and really impacted that game. Sir Riley was an offensive lineman. That's probably next to Evan Henry, our best offensive lineman on the team that came back on Saturday. You know, that was his first game back. He was coming off an elbow situation. We had a freshman to step up, Quay Davis out of Texas. This kid is 6'7", 330 pounds, you know, and he stepped up. So that's why it was, you know, you saw us kind of control the line of scrimmage on that side of the football. And then also, too, those guys stepping up, it creates depth now. You know, we can rotate some guys, keep some bodies fresh that we wasn't able to do. We were only rolling probably 6 guys, but now we're up to, with those guys coming back, we got a rotation about 7, 8 guys now. And then, you know, with the injury situation, JD Martin is just kind of banged up right now. We always talk about the next guy. Who'd have thought Desmond Moultrie would have come out there and did what he did? And that kid ran behind his pads, you know, and he's been a kid that's been around here. Very happy for him to go out there and be that physical as a runner. And that's what we got to do going forward. Because we know what Irv Mulligan is. Everybody's starting to understand, like, this kid is special. But it's up to us, you know, for as the O-line, you know, changing the line of scrimmage, and then who is those second or third guys to kind of take some of that heat off Irv late in the game, early in the game, so he can finish games. But I think it was too, because like I said, that was a big part, us being able to recoup some bodies on the offense as well as the defensive side of the ball, because we made some great substitutions over. Got some people in there that really made a difference on the defensive side of the ball too.
Yeah, just briefly, elaborate on the importance of Irv Mulligan. He seems to be the guy at the star. He's like that Alvin Kamara type of guy who can do it all.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big part of what we're doing offensively. We saw it all camp when we can get JD Martin back and Irv Mulligan in the mix. You know, that backfield is special. The kid, he doesn't know how good he's going to be. You know, he just know to go strap it up, you know, buckle his helmet up and run hard. You know, what we got to get Irv to get, we're working on him to the little things, understand where you need to be on protection. Not saying he's bad there, but just being a more complete back. You know, it's more, I tell him all the time, it's more to the game than just running outside zone. You know, and I tell him that, I like, you got to protect Jason. You need to be where you need to be on this certain pass concept. But he is a truly special player with some big time speed. it's good to see his, the game speed he plays at. When he gets out front, or if he can hit it clean, I don't think there's nobody in this league that can catch him. Then just the toughness. You saw one time down there, we're trying to close out the game. He hits the hole and he's just trying to gain yards, look like he moonwalking going backwards. He's just tenacious, hard-nosed dude, and don't give us no problem. He just loves football. And, to get a transfer in here at that position from Wofford, and he's able to, be one of your better players on offense, it's truly a blessing for the team.
Yeah. Well, good luck, Coach.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Coach Taylor, as always, we appreciate your time and good luck this weekend.
All right. Thank you, guys. Y'all take care and be safe.
Once again, to all of our media, we will process the Zoom session. We'll get it sent out via email. And as always, thank you for your weekly participation. Have a great day.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Absolutely. Thank you.